A warm welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Monday, January 25. COVID-19 cases in Barbados now stand at 1,401. Latest figures from the Ministry of Health show the island recorded 14 new positive cases, 7 men and 7 women, from 262 tests conducted by the Besta Santos Public Health Laboratory on Sunday. Of these, 5 are individuals who would have been sent previously to the Harrison Point Isolation Facility for assessment. There are 742 active cases. There were no new positive cases recorded at Her Majesty's Prison Dodds, so the cases there remain at 360, 102 staff members, and 258 inmates. 15 people were released from isolation, and to date, 649 people have recovered. Barbados has recorded 10 COVID-19 related deaths since March 2020. A 91-year-old female who died yesterday is the latest patient to succumb to the viral illness. Even as the country braces for tighter measures expected in the coming days, with government's confirmation that there is community spread of COVID-19, the president of the Barbados Private Sector Association, Edward CLARKE, believes the current protocols in place are stringent enough. He says what's needed is for Barbadians and businesses alike to adhere to the measures.
We have a lot of measures and protocols already established. As the enforcement of these protocols and the abuse by members of the public just simply not following the proper protocols. And I think we've seen some of these photos in the press recently. But, the businesses, any enforcement of protocols at the businesses, we currently have the COVID police, who have a monitoring unit, going around monitoring various business houses on a regular basis. If they do find any violations, they do bring them in order. So I don't think many of the business houses are for the larger ones. I think what we need to ensure is that we have the smaller businesses in the rural and even some in the urban areas that may not be as strong on the protocols. But generally speaking, I think the enforcement is going to be more of an enforcement of general protocols across Barbados, and having the Barbadian public and visitors here ensure that they follow the protocols that are already well established by government.
CLARKE adds that the social partnership will meet later this week to discuss new measures with the government.
We have given the government some suggestions on things that can be enhanced, and I'd rather not comment at this stage. So we are awaiting discussions with the government. They do have our feedback from the private sector on certain things that can be improved and enhanced. And we just need to make sure that we do what we're doing better.
President of the Barbados Alliance to End Homelessness, KEMAR SAFFREY, today proposed government should consider removing the homeless from the streets with the recent confirmation that Barbados has community spread of COVID-19. According to SAFFREY, the vulnerable group must be protected to ensure they're not infected and unsuspectingly spread the virus.
I think the government needs to do is to look at isolating those that are a serious mental challenge, those that do not understand or cannot fend for themselves in that way, or are in no position to understand their surrounding. The government needs to take a step to isolate those persons, whether it be in the psychiatric hospital or other place, whether they look at a school or something like that we can put those persons in. Second to that, we will definitely need to look at how do we assist those on the street and get them off the street for a period of time. That period of time could be about a month or so to government to get a grip of the situation which it has.
Transport authorities are on a mission to improve the traffic flow in Warrens. During a tour of the area today, Acting Deputy Chief Technical Officer of Design Service Jason Boyne told the media that proposals are on the cards for the possible construction of a roundabout or the creation of a new lane.
At the Highway to Jackson roundabout, we have to seek to improve the capacity at that roundabout for motorists heading south, approaching the junction from the north. We want to also, at the next junction, improve the Highway to Friendship Terrace junction. That is a junction by Price Mart. That location, we are looking at putting in a rotary system, a roundabout, to assist there. The Eden Lodge junction along Highway 2, we are also looking at putting in a right turn lane along there. by putting in these structures in along this route, we are looking at reducing the delay to motorists along this section.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news in Guyana, former Public Infrastructure Minister David Patterson and former General Manager of the Demerara Harbour Bridge Corporation, Ralston Adams, were today jointly charged with fraud relating to a multi-million-dollar contract awarded in 2016.
Former Public Infrastructure Minister David Patterson and former General Manager of the Demerara Harbour Bridge Corporation, Ralston Adams, appeared before Magistrate Leron Daly at the Georgetown Magistrates Court after Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan recused herself from hearing the case. McLennan is reportedly friends with both Patterson and Adams. The duo was not required to plead to the charge, which was laid indictable. They were released on $200,000 bail each. Attorney Glenn Hanneman appeared for Adams. Both Adams and his attorney refused to speak to the media. Attorney Ronald Bird Smith leads the defense team for Patterson, which also includes attorney Nigel Hughes. Hughes said the defense believes the charge is unfounded, even as the two are expected to return to court on February 15.
This was not an activity or an action initiated by Mr. Patterson, and therefore in the circumstances we believe that this charge not only is unfounded.
Patterson did not speak to the media on the advice of his legal team. He was greeted outside the courthouse by opposition leader Joseph Harman and several other opposition parliamentarians who held placards and chanted.
On the international front, Moderna's vaccine should be effective against all COVID-19 mutations, but may require a booster to protect against the variant first detected in South Africa. The U.S. biotechnology company said its early laboratory tests show the vaccine did trigger sufficient quantities of antibodies to fight all key emergent variants of the virus. Virologist Lawrence Young of the University of Warwick suggests some caution given the early data as he appeared on Euronews.
Well, it's very encouraging in relation to the UK variant because they've been able to demonstrate, as have some other studies, that the antibodies generated by the Moderna vaccine fully block infection in the lab with the UK variant. But there is a reduction in the ability of the antibodies induced by Moderna vaccine to block the infection with the South African variant. So it does raise some concerns about how efficacious the vaccines that are currently being used will be against South Africa and other similar variants.
But those conclusions were based on a study which looked at the blood of 8 people as well as tests on some monkeys. Is that a big enough sample size for us to be sure about the results?
No, it's not. It's a very small sample size, and also they're using a particular technology to check for virus blockade or neutralization with engineered viruses. So they're not using the proper coronavirus. So we have to be a bit cautious. I think with the UK variant, however, there are a number of studies that again suggest that the vaccines will work. There are other more substantial studies on the South African variant that demonstrate that there are going to be some real challenges in getting proper protective immunity with the current vaccine. So this is early data, and it does need to be looked at in more detail.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.